which we will start with the America's X Cup. Why not? Let's start with the X Division.
Yeah, because it knocks off a whole show.
Yeah, so February 11th, 2004, we won't talk about the Jeff Jarrett stuff, we'll talk about that separately, we'll just stick to the America's X Cup, was the 2004 America's X Cup, which was a team-on-team format where Team AAA, which was Juventud Guerrera, Mr. Aguila, Abismo Negro, and Hector Garza faced Team TNA, which is Sanjay Dutt, Jerry Lynn, Elix Skipper, and
Chris Sabin.
Chris Sabin. How could I forget? Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever done in this
Hater
podcast.
of Chris Sabin over here.
And Chris Sabin. They faced off, so it was 4 singles matches worth a point each, 2 tag team matches worth 2 points each, and then an 8-man tag team elimination match where you got 2 points per elimination. In the event of a tie, the 2 captains would face off the following week to determine the ultimate winner of the America's X Cup.
I love these rules.
And I think a very cool thing about the America's X Cup is it's a trophy, but it's treated as a title. So in March, the winner of this America's X Cup will then defend the America's X Cup against a different team.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea.
Which wasn't originally the plan. The original plan was to do a TNA versus IWA show in March, but IWA accidentally, I think, or didn't realize they had signed like an exclusive deal with some promoter in New York and couldn't do a co-promoted thing with TNA anymore. So that was off the table. So that's where the idea of defending the America's X Cup came from.
I like the defending the X Cup. I think it's cool. It feels like a title for a stable.
Yeah, so the 4 singles matches, we started with a rematch of the 2003 Super X Cup final as Juventud Guerrera faced Chris Sabin. Not as good as the first time, but still a damn good match.
Yeah, they definitely didn't hit the highs of the first match. But this is fun. They did some... all of this stuff is really cool stuff. The very weird finish to this one. That kind of felt like it might have not been correct, but maybe it was... It didn't, maybe because it was only a point on the line, it didn't really matter in the long run. But Juvi hits a Juvi driver out of nowhere, and Sabin kicks out? Maybe this was just to protect Sabin because he's the champ?
Yeah, I was thinking that, because this match is relatively short. I think it's 10 minutes. Whereas their last match was over 15. And maybe it was edited, maybe it was cut down, maybe there's something worse in there. But yeah, it's very weird. Where it's Juvi just hits the Juvi driver, counts 1, 2, Sabin kicks out right on 3. So there is some maybe he didn't kick out thing. But yeah, it's very strange. But it was counted as 3. Juvi beat Sabin with the Juvi driver. AAA go 1 up. Weird finish. But these two in general, just outrageous chemistry together.
Except for the finish, apparently. But yeah, they had this good little streak of just dropping each other on their heads, which is cool. Sabin had control, and Juvi just took it right back with the Juvi driver and won. But my guess here is that maybe they just wanted to protect X Division champion Chris Sabin.
But they didn't kick out on 3.
Yeah.
But there were interviews with both teams beforehand. While Jerry Lynn was talking to Elix Skipper was like, "This is our house, Jerry," and Lynn was like, "Straight up, G."
Straight up, G.
Every time I've watched it since, I just laugh.
Yeah. It was real 2 highlights here. A tale of 2 stories, because Lynn cut this pretty good promo with the straight up G in it, and then AAA was complete chaos.
Yeah, so Armando Quintero is interviewing AAA, and he's translating for them. And my favorite part of this is Juvi does this really long promo. He talks for a minute, and you can tell Armando's like, stop. I need to start translating. I can't remember all this. Please stop talking.
And then his translation was 10 words.
Yeah, he's like, Juvi said they're going to win tonight.
And then Juvi walked away.
He's clearly upset about it. He's like, you being edited on this podcast. He's like, don't you censor my art.
I am the Juventud Guerrera of this podcast.
And then Garza also said that they're just going to win.
Yeah.
So speaking of Garza, the second singles match, Hector Garza defeated Sanjay Dutt in what was a remarkable squash match.
Yeah, I liked this match. It was just Garza beating the hell out of Sanjay.
He killed him. He gave him absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and it just beat the hell. Is this where Sanjay got the chest that we made note of in the first episode?
It must have been, yeah, because there's chops, and there's actually a note that apparently Sanjay was upset. Actually, no, it was Juvi, I think, that chopped his chest in the tag match as opposed to this match. There's a note about Juvi and Sanjay later, which we'll get to. I like Mike today on commentary being like, Hector Garza was one of the most misused wrestlers in WCW.
My favorite thing about that was as soon as he said like Hector Garza in WCW, I knew that his next sentence was going to be misused. I could tell from the inflection on his voice what he was about to say about Hector Garza in WCW.
It's like Hector Garza, as a guy who looks like this and can fly like that, should be a big star, and they dropped the ball with him and they didn't know.
Yeah, unlike TNA, which will use him perfectly, world champion, top guy.
They did intend to.
They always intend to.
Well, no, it wasn't even the booking that got in the way this time.
Yeah. I like, all the Garza's just excellent. Like, is that just a family that's like, if you're a Garza, you're born with it and you're gonna be good?
I didn't like Angel Garza that much until he went to NXT and he had those matches with Leo Rush. And like, fuck, he's great.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because like his TNA stuff is fine. It's nothing special, but it's nothing bad. He's just pretty good. And then he goes to have those Leo Rush matches and like, God, he's great.
Yeah. Really good. I just... And then you see Hector here and you're like, wow, he's awesome.
He did do the FTR powerbomb off the ropes into a sit-out powerbomb.
Mm-hmm.
Except that he kind of missed the ropes with Sanjay's back, and you could see it was mostly Sanjay's head that hit the ropes.
It's cooler, in my opinion.
Sanjay having a bad night. So Garza had Sanjay pinned twice. He pulled Sanjay up both times and then just beat him anyway with the tornado.
Yeah. Good stuff, though. I really liked this match. I thought it was a ton of fun.
AAA 2-0 up. It must be noted, a story thing which we'll cover when we talk about the Jarrett stuff, but Jarrett has put pressure on Lynn to say that if Team TNA does not win the America's X Cup, that Jerry Lynn will be fired.
Mm-hmm. He said he'll be in breach of contract if he doesn't win.
That's their favorite thing. Everything is a breach of contract.
To be fair, I like it though. It puts like a reason beyond. Like it gives Jarrett an out for getting rid of him that makes a little more sense. It's like when you signed, you said you were going to win, so win. So
speaking of Jerry Lynn, he had to turn it around. They're 2-0 down. He faced Mr. Aguila in a match I enjoyed a lot. I thought Mr. Aguila had a very good showing in all of these matches.
I did. All right, I agree. I thought he had a good showing. I was mostly distracted by his ass cheeks that I could see through his goddamn gear.
Nice.
His gear has a bunch of holes in it.
I am personally a fan of Mr. Aguila getting his butt out.
And he has like a bright red thong under his gear.
Yeah, all power to him.
But I just thought it was a part of the design of his gear for like half the match. And then I was like, wait a minute. and I'm like looking at him like, that's his ass cheek.
That's his shoot butt.
Yeah, that's his for real shoot butt.
His real butthole.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I just didn't expect this.
I'm here for sexy S.A. Rios, Liam.
I mean, sure. I like that his gear is light up. Glow in the dark gear. Okada getting his ideas from this, clearly.
He's watching his America's X Cup. He's like,
Yeah.
Oh no, he actually got the idea from Taichi, who later competes in a World X Cup this year.
Wow. Does he compete against Mr. Aguila?
I can't remember is Mr. Aguila on that Team Mexico.
We'll have to. That'll be a time to find out. Did Taichi steal the pants ripping from Hector Garza?
Yeah, God, all of this is coming together. All of these New Japan characters stealing things from America's X Cups.
Wow, makes you think.
So Jerry Lynn and Mr. Aguila renewing their big rivalry from WWF Jacked.
Oh hell yeah!
They had a couple matches on Jacked before they wrestled here.
Garrett, I want you to do some written reviews of those matches for the Patreon.
Sure, I'm sure Monsoon Classic has posted them on YouTube. If they're there, I'll watch them.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Aguila did a real rad dive over the post.
There's some this show is great. It really shows you that like the shows where they have a consistent theme throughout the whole show, and also when the X Division is the focus, are really great.
When you just put two good wrestlers in the ring and give them a reason to wrestle, it's very interesting. I
feel like there was only 1-2 matches where the crowd started to dip out of interest on this show, but by the time we got back to the main event, they were all in. Yeah, because the main event was actually taped. Surprisingly, it was taped at the end of the show, of the previous week's show, so they had seen like everything beforehand, and then they got super into that final. It was patriotism, baby. And then final first, Jerry Lynn beat Mr. Aguila, by the way, with a pile driver, 2-1 AAA. And then the final first round match, Abismo Negro defeated Elix Skipper to go 3-1 up with a Magistral Cradle. Yeah, all these matches were just all pretty good. The Saban Hubi one was the closest to great, but the rest were just really enjoyable little matches, except Garza just completely squashed Sanjay. I love that match. That might be my favorite match of the openers. Poor Sanjay. You like seeing Sanjay get squashed. Well, no, I actually have a point about Sanjay later on. But I wanted to mention that this might be the first time I've seen Abismo Negro ever. Like, I have seen the mask, like, very iconic mask that I have definitely noticed before. But this might be the first time I've seen him work, and I was like, wow, this guy works nothing like what I thought. He's really good.
What did you think he worked like?
I don't know. I guess I had, maybe because of the times of when I knew him or something, I just threw him into the barrel of, like, Lucha Brawler guy. But, like, I was like, oh, man, he's, like, flipping and flying and doing some cool technical stuff. I was like, this guy rocks.
And of course, Mr. Abismo Negro would die in 2009. Do you know the circumstances around his death?
I did not.
So he got on a bus going to Mexico City, and he had some kind of anxiety attack.
Oh, God.
And then he got off the bus. It was 1:30 in the morning. Then he was lost. He was wandering the Mexican hills and countryside, and he was found dead in a river a couple of days later.
Jesus.
I know, because I was pretty sure he had passed away, but I'm not super up on Lucha, so I had to look it up. And I was like, oh God, that's just tragic.
That sounds awful. It sounds terrifying.
It does. And one of the promoters, while he was lost and people were like out searching for him, Abismo Negro was meant to be booked on a show, but obviously he wasn't there. So the promoter got somebody else to play Abismo Negro while they knew he was like lost and people were out searching for him.
Did that go down well?
No, he was suspended for 2 years from promoting wrestling.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I get like not having commissions and things like that, like, because it's a broken system, but like things like that are like why you should have them, I guess.
Yeah, because for the most part, it's a hustle for states to make money, but then in the instances where they are holding people accountable for just bad actors, the good commissions should exist.
Yeah, because like what else? Like if there isn't one, like that dude just goes promotes the show the next week. It's a weird dynamic. I don't know how we got into that part of it, but yeah, that sounds horrifying and upsetting.
But he beat a skipper with a freaking Lavastral Cradle.
Hell yeah. Had a great showing on this night, so...
Yeah, I thought it was a very good Team AAA. Not all of these America's X Cup teams will be this good, especially the Team UK is kind of terrible.
These are two pretty stacked teams.
But yeah, these are two like real good teams going head to head here.
Yeah.
So AAA were 3-1 up going into the tag team matches, where Abismo Negro and Juventud Guerrera faced Sanjay and Jerry Lynn.
I like this one too. I liked the finish of here where Sanjay went for the top rope Hurricane Runner and they just rolled through. It was kind of like an experience versus like a tenacity thing. And I'll bring the whole... I have a whole like a show long thing about Sanjay on this, but I'll save it till the final.
Yeah, so Abismo Negro put in Sanjay, as you mentioned, 5-1 AAA. Then the pressure is on Chris Sabin and the skipper. So there's this show running story where at the start of the show, Scott Hudson mentions that, oh, you don't have Loki and Christopher Daniels on this team. It's not the best TNA team. But Jerry Lynn is like, no, those guys can't get along. In the interest of team cohesion, we've chosen somebody like Sanjay Dutt instead of Loki and Christopher Daniels. So through the whole story show, it's like, well, what if we had Daniels and Loki? And they're like, no, we're still good.
So yeah. I guess I'll go into my Sanjay thing now then. I really wish this was done differently in that Sanjay gets beat up in the first match. In the second match, Sanjay loses because of like an experience thing. And I was really hoping that the third match would be Sanjay proving himself and coming through and being the underdog guy who helps get there for Team NWA. And I was really bummed to see him just get kind of jobbed out in that match at the end.
He was the first person eliminated in the...
Yeah, and I really wanted this story of him, like, proving himself, even if he, like, you know, because obviously Team NWA don't win, but if they had have done something with, like, Sanjay earning his stripes in this, I think it would have come across really well, and because it makes Jerry Lynn look like an idiot, because the whole time he's like, nah, this guy's good, and he costs him at every turn. So I really would have loved something here where it's like, even in the final match, if Sanjay gets a flash pinfall on Hector, and then he does the Rana again on Abismo Negro, and gets the win and pins both of those guys, and just proves himself in that way before getting eliminated or something. I would have liked some sort of show-long story like that for Sanjay, because it would have made Jerry Lynn look better. It probably could have really helped Sanjay, just in general.
Yeah, I think the easy thing is just pin Garza.
Yeah, like have him get the revenge on it.
At the very least, he could have just pinned Hector Garza.
Mm-hmm.
But in this tag team match, Chris Sabin and Neil Skipper beat Mr. Aguila and Hector Garza to go 5-3 in favor of AAA, where Garza had Skipper in a Boston Crab, but then Sabin caught him from behind with the victory roll for the win.
This is a fun tag too. But the problem with this one was it just kept going. And they were doing a lot of stuff, and they were doing a lot of big moves, but by the end of it, I was just like, come on, guys.
Just go home. You just want to get to the main event.
Yeah, like, that's maybe the problem with doing, like, a big one-night tournament like this, which I liked for the most part, but it just kind of dipped at this point.
And you're seeing everybody wrestle 3 times.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of impressive, though.
Well, it's spread over 3 weeks. They didn't actually record this in one night.
Why are you going to ruin it for me?
I'm ruining the magic. I'm ruining kayfabe for you.
I know. I was like, man, wow. Like, you went out there, they did this all in one night. Must have been hard.
Exposing the business. I'm sorry.
Yeah, shoot trash.
So, main event. Team AAA faces Team NWA in an 8-man tag team elimination match. I love this match. I thought this match rocked.
This match rocks not only because I think it's a really cool concept. I liked the points per elimination stuff. I think that was really interesting. Everyone in here at this point had already worked with each other, so there was like some sort of chemistry building with everyone. I think the final 2 was really awesome. And just the crowd being so into it.
Yeah, I thought Mike and Don were fantastic on commentary as well. As 2 guys who are like total homers, the total like rooting for the NWA team, and like unabashedly, not like being like, oh, you know, we have to be unbiased. It's like, no, we're going to root for our guys. And they were living and dying by the near falls and living and dying by Team TNA making a comeback. And I'm sure because they had AAA commentary, like the Spanish commentary was probably the inverse of it, or the rooting for AAA. So that was probably fun on the flip side if we had access to the Spanish version.
I love that kind of stuff. It's like when they did the New Japan versus Noah Wrestle Kingdom show. And you listen to the Noah English commentary and they're all like putting over the Noah guys and kind of burying the New Japan guys. And you listen to the New Japan commentary and they're putting all over the New Japan guys and kind of burying the Noah guys. I love that. Of course they should. Why should they be impartial? That makes no sense.
The announcer should be home team guys too.
Yeah, I thought this was, just a ton of fun all around.
Yeah, so you had some really cool like wacky submission exchange. They did the submission chain, but they made it look like good.
Mm-hmm.
They did like a dive sequence that ended with a Hurricane Rana onto a pile on the floor, which is like a classic PWG spot these days. But in 2004, I don't think anybody would have ever seen that before.
Yeah, that's not a thing that you hit into like 2013 PWG.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I really like Hector's tornado from the top to like everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a big dude compared to a lot of those other guys as well. And he just kind of crushes them.
He just does this double spinny thing, spiral drop thing.
Yeah.
It's basically, because, well, the tornado's a moonsault, so it's not technically a
I thought that was the spinny deal. Forgive me.
So he did like a, I don't even know what to describe it. It's because it's a straight dive, except he does 2 spins while he does it.
Yeah, it's like the thing that Phoenix does.
Yeah, wiped everybody out. Don West at one stage referred to Chris Sabin as a powerful wrestler.
Yeah, he's a Power Junior.
But like powerful in the other sense, as in like powerful.
He's a powerful wrestler.
Because when he was eliminated, it's like Don West is like, oh, they've lost Chris Sabin. He's one of NWA-TNA's most powerful wrestlers.
It's not wrong.
And they're like, yes, you're right, Donnie. He's powerful. He's Chris Sabin. We got another like mini Sabin and Hoovy match tucked away in here as well.
We got a mini like Hoovy Lynn thing too.
Yeah, and then it came down to Hoovy. So the order of eliminations: Garza pinned Sanjay with the moonsault. The skipper submitted Abismo Negro with the primetime submission. Sabin pinned Hector Garza with a cradle shock. Aguila pinned Skipper with a shooting star. Hoovy pinned Sabin with a Hoovy driver. Jerry Lynn pinned Mr. Aguila with an air raid crash. And then Hoovy pinned Jerry Lynn with a 911 Hoovy driver, which is a Hoovy driver where he hooks the arm.
I don't really have much to say beyond just this is one of those matches you should go check out because it's probably a bit of an underground classic, right?
Yeah, no one remembers this. Everyone talks about like the Sabin and Hoovy match from the first Super X Cup. No one remembers this 8-man tag from the first America's X Cup, and it's so good. It's the perfect version of what this match should be.
If you have like the spare hour, 30 minutes, just chuck this on. Watch this show and then like skip the post-match stuff and you're fine.
Yeah, and you can skip all the backstage interviews in between that tell the Jeff Jarrett story.
Yeah, this is a good episode of NWA-TNA. I really liked it.
Jerry Lynn was upset with Juventud Guerrera following the match that was taped for the America's X Cup, the 4-on-4 tag match. Wrestlers who watched the match say Lynn had every right to be upset because the Hoovy didn't protect Lynn while giving him the 911 Hoovy driver. It's Hoovy's job to tuck his opponent's heads when performing the move, but he neglected to in this case. Lynn did tuck his head, but landed right in his shoulder in the process. You can actually see it. It looks nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Making matters worse, Hoovy never apologized for it, leaving some to believe that Lynn will have a big receipt for him coming. They do wrestle 2 weeks down the line. They don't seem to fight at all, so it's fine.
Then we got the Sanjay note as well.
Yeah, Guerrero also lived up to his reputation for taking in-ring liberties with younger opponents. During a match with Sanjay, Hoovy laid chops in so hard that Sanjay's chest was actually bleeding backstage. More than one wrestler noticed Dot's chest and inquired about it, but Dot didn't sell it. Wrestlers say Dot handled the situation the right way and seemed generally excited about working with Juvi.
It's interesting that it's like in 2004 that was like a ooh thing, but now I feel like that's a badge of pride if you wrestle a chop guy.
Yeah, it is fun. Well, not fun maybe, but it is interesting to see how those norms change. How two guys go out and lay it into it. I guess if you go out there to be like, let's sink it in, that's one thing.
Yeah. If you're going in there with that intent of like, I'm wrestling Walter, let's go out there and beat the fuck out of each other.
Whereas if you're going out there and like, let's have a nice little X Division match, and he then starts beating the shit out of your chest, maybe it's a different story.
Yeah, because like, what are you gonna do in response, really? I remember it's like in school we used to have a game where you just chop each other. It was always fun because like you could either go for it, but then if they blocked it, they get to get you, or you could like fake it out, and then if they flinched, you could get one with them, and they had to hold their hands behind their back.
Nice.
And this was like just a 24/7 game.
Just constantly throwing chops at each other.
Yeah. It was great. That was like year 11 to year 10. I loved it.
I feel like you would very much enjoy a game about throwing chops at each other.
Oh, I'd like hit people in like the back.
Oh, Liam. No.
They'd like hit me in the head.
This chop game seems to have gotten out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, it was fun though.
We're gonna have some nice knife edge chop this to the chest. That's fine. But back chops are a particular low blow. That's.
Yeah. Bro, sometimes like you'd hit like the Phoenix, like the overhand chop. Those would suck. But it was a good time. There was nothing better than flinching someone out, and then you're like, and you have to put your hands behind your back.
Then you get to go full Roddy Strong.
Yeah, but then like at that point, it's like you kind of like that you can push your chest out to take it a bit,
Or sorry, full Rod Strong if you're Scott Hudson.
Yeah, big Rod Strong.